First Contact's price. The crystalline spires of Haven Station sparkled like frozen starlight against the amber nebula of the Zylaxian home system. Within its delicate-looking but surprisingly resilient chambers, Ambassador Lyra Tellez glided through the gravity-free corridors, her translucent wings catching the light of the nearby star. The Zylaxians had achieved what many species dreamed of, a perfect harmony between advanced technology and the preservation of their natural form. Their civilization had evolved in the upper atmosphere of a gas giant, developing bodies that were lightweight and efficient, with crystalline-based biology that allowed them to process solar energy directly. Their technology followed the same principles: elegant, efficient, and powered by the abundant stellar radiation that bathed their world. They were peaceful explorers, scientists, and artists who had never needed to develop weapons or defenses beyond simple shields against solar storms. But today, something was different. Lyra felt it in the subtle vibrations of her crystalline sensory filaments, a disturbance in the usual harmonious flow of station operations. She arrived at the observation deck just as First Observer Cax Vec was analyzing the new sensor reading. "Ambassador," Cax's voice chimed like wind through crystal, "we've detected an artificial construct entering the outer system. Its design principles are unlike anything in our database." The holographic display showed a vessel that seemed to defy Zylaxian understanding. Where their ships were graceful collections of crystalline chambers and solar sails, this was solid, compact, and built of materials that appeared impossibly dense to their sensors. It moved with purpose, its hull bearing marks and scarring that spoke of journeys through conditions that would shatter a Zylaxian vessel. "They're broadcasting," Cax announced, his crystalline form shifting colors in surprise. "In multiple formats, including basic mathematical sequences, it appears to be a greeting." The message, when decoded, was simple but changed the course of Zylaxian history forever. "This is the UES Pioneer, representing the United Earth Alliance. We come seeking peaceful contact and exchange of knowledge." The humans, as they called themselves, were as fascinating as they were terrifying to the Zylaxians. They had evolved on a world with gravity that would crush a Zylaxian to dust, in an atmosphere thick enough to be liquid by their standards. Their bodies were dense matrices of calcium and protein, powered by chemical processes rather than direct solar absorption. Where Zylaxians drifted through life with deliberate grace, humans moved with an intensity that seemed almost violent, even in their gentlest moments. Captain Maya Rodriguez of the Pioneer became the first human to board Haven Station, her environmental suit necessary not for protection from the station's minimal atmosphere, but to allow her to move without accidentally damaging the crystalline structures with her natural strength. The meeting between her and Ambassador Lyra became the stuff of legend in both cultures. "Your station is beautiful," Maya said, her voice filled with genuine wonder as she carefully navigated the crystalline chambers. "We've never seen anything like it. The way you've integrated solar collection into the very structure itself. And we've never encountered beings who could survive such extreme conditions," Lyra responded, her translator converting her crystalline harmonics into human speech. "Your ship's hull alone would collapse our vessels." The exchange of knowledge that followed revealed both the greatest opportunity and the greatest threat to Zylaxian civilization. The humans shared tales of their world, their history of overcoming adversity, and their advanced technologies born from the need to survive in what the Zylaxians considered impossible conditions. In return, the Zylaxians shared their mastery of solar energy and crystalline computing. But it was during a routine data exchange that First Observer Cax made a discovery that sent tremors of fear through Haven Station's crystalline corridors. Hidden in the background radiation of nearby systems, he detected patterns that the Zylaxians' subtle instruments had missed, evidence of massive fleet movements. Someone was watching, and they had been for some time. Captain Rodriguez recognized the significance immediately when shown the data. "These are military formations," she said, her expression grim. "Someone's been studying your defenses, or lack thereof. And given the energy signatures, they're not peaceful researchers. The truth hit Lyra with the force of a solar flare. The Xylaxians' very peacefulness, their perfect adaptation to their environment, had made them an attractive target. Their advanced solar and crystalline technology would be invaluable to any species seeking to expand their power, and their lack of defensive capabilities made them vulnerable. As if to confirm their fears, long-range sensors detected the first signs of an approaching fleet. Massive ships built for war, their energy signatures speaking of weapons that could shatter Haven Station's crystalline structures with a single blast. The Xylaxians' worst nightmare was becoming reality. But as panic began to spread through the station, Captain Rodriguez stood firm, her dense, earth-forged body a stark contrast to the delicate crystalline forms around her. "Ambassador Lyra," she said, her voice carrying the weight of Earth's gravity itself, "it's time you learned why they call us Deathworlders. Not because we seek violence, but because we will move heaven and hell itself to protect those we call friends." With that, she sent a single quantum-encrypted message to Earth Command. First Contact Protocol 7. Peaceful species in immediate danger. Requesting full defensive deployment. The Xylaxians are under humanity's protection now. The response would show the galaxy why humanity's friendship was as powerful as their enmity was terrible. The warning echoes. Earth Fleet Command erupted into controlled chaos as Captain Rodriguez's message reached Admiral Sarah Chen's quantum terminal. The massive holographic display dominating the command center's far wall flickered to life, showing the strategic overlay of known space. Haven Station's position blinked red, surrounded by the approaching signatures of what analysts were now identifying as the Nexus Dominion's war fleet. "What do we know about them?" Chen demanded, her weathered features illuminated by the holographic glow. The Nexus Dominion had been a shadow in humanity's intelligence reports, an aggressive species that had evolved in the dense methane storms of a gas giant, developing technology based on electromagnetic manipulation and plasma containment. Their hunters, Admiral, Intelligence Officer Kai Santos reported, his augmented eyes scanning through streams of data. They've systematically absorbed or eliminated 17 smaller civilizations in the past decade. Their standard approach is to target species with advanced technology but limited defensive capabilities. Chen's jaw tightened. The Xylaxians, with their remarkable solar and crystalline technology, must have seemed like perfect prey. But the Dominion had made a crucial mistake. They'd waited too long to strike, allowing humanity to form a bond with their intended victims. In the quantum-linked war room, military leaders from across Earth's colonies assembled virtually, their avatars materializing around the strategic table. General Maria Duarte of the Mars Defense Force spoke first, her holographic form radiating authority. "The closest conventional fleet is 3 days out at maximum burn. The Xylaxians don't have that long. Then we deploy the Thunderbirds," Chen stated, invoking protocols that had never been used outside of simulations. The room fell silent. The Thunderbird initiative was humanity's most closely guarded secret. A squadron of ships incorporating technology reversed engineered from humanity's first ventures into deep space. In orbit above Earth, within a classified military facility known as the Nest, Commander James Chen, the Admiral's son, stood before his squadron. The 12 ships of Thunderbird Squadron represented the pinnacle of human military engineering. Their hulls were composed of metamaterials that could adapt to gravitational stress, their cores powered by miniaturized stars, and their weapons designed to function in conditions that would tear conventional ships apart. "Listen up," James addressed his pilots, each chosen for their exceptional ability to withstand the extreme forces their ships could generate. Haven Station is home to 50,000 civilian Xylaxians. They're scholars, artists, scientists, people who never needed to learn the art of war because their world was kind to them. But we know better. We come from a world that taught us to be strong, not so we could dominate, but so we could protect those who never had to learn that strength. In Haven Station's central chamber, Ambassador Lyra watched in growing horror as the Dominion fleet drew closer. Their ships were massive constructs of dark metal, and crackling energy fields, designed to harness the electromagnetic storms of their home world as weapons. The lead vessel alone dwarfed Haven Station, its weapon systems capable of tearing through the station's crystalline structure like solar wind through vapor. "Your people should arrive in their defensive positions within 3 hours," she said to Captain Rodriguez, her crystalline form vibrating with anxiety. "But the Dominion fleet will be here in 2." Rodriguez's smile was grim but confident. Who said anything about 3 hours? She held up a quantum communicator, its display showing a single message: "Thunderbirds are go." The void between stars twisted as reality itself seemed to bend. In a burst of controlled quantum displacement, 12 ships appeared in perfect formation between Haven Station and the approaching Dominion fleet. To the Zalaxians' amazement, these vessels seemed to ignore the basic laws of physics as they understood them. They moved with impossible precision, their hulls gleaming with an inner light that spoke of contained stars. Commander Chen's voice echoed through Haven Station's communication system. "This is Thunderbird Squadron to Haven Station. Sorry we're late. Had to pick up a few things on the way." The humor in his voice belied the deadly seriousness of the situation. "Ambassador Lyra, Captain Rodriguez, please inform your people to initiate emergency protocols. We'll handle the orbital defense." The Dominion fleet's approach suddenly faltered. Their sensors must have detected something about the human ships that gave them pause. Perhaps it was the gravitational readings that made no sense, or the energy signatures that suggested power sources that shouldn't be possible in ships that size. From her command post, Admiral Chen watched the tactical display with fierce pride. The Thunderbirds had been built for exactly this scenario. To remind the galaxy that humanity's technological advancement wasn't just about survival on their harsh world. It was about ensuring that peaceful species like the Zalaxians could continue to exist, free from the predation of those who mistook gentleness for weakness. "All ships, battle formations," Commander Chen ordered, his squadron moving into positions that would soon become legendary in military academies across known space. "Show them why Earth's children are called Deathworlders, and show the Zalaxians why we're called Guardians." The battle that followed would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever, as humanity demonstrated that they had learned not just to survive the harsh conditions of their birth, but to turn those very conditions into a shield for those who had evolved in gentler cradles. Operation Stormbreak. The void between Haven Station and the Nexus Dominion fleet erupted into a light show that defied conventional physics. Thunderbird Squadron's 12 ships moved with impossible grace, their gravitic drives allowing them to pull maneuvers that would have torn conventional vessels apart. Commander James Chen watched his tactical display as the Dominion fleet approached, their massive ships radiating electromagnetic energy that would have disrupted any normal targeting systems. "They're using their home environment as a weapon," Lieutenant Sarah Patel observed from her position as Squadron Tactical Officer. "Those electromagnetic fields are strong enough to fry standard electronics." She paused, a slight smile playing across her features. "Too bad we don't use standard electronics." The Thunderbird's quantum crystalline computers, developed through collaboration with Zalaxian scientists, were immune to electromagnetic interference. It was humanity's first gift back to their new allies, taking their elegant crystalline technology and hardening it against the harsh realities of combat. The Dominion fleet opened fire first, massive bolts of plasma streaking across space. To the Zalaxians watching from Haven Station, it seemed like certain death. Enough energy to vaporize their crystalline structures was heading straight for their human defenders. But the Thunderbirds didn't dodge. Instead, their metamaterial hulls began to glow, the advanced surfaces actually absorbing and channeling the plasma energy. Commander Chen's voice was calm as he gave the order: "Initiate gravity lance protocols." The absorbed energy was fed directly into the ship's gravitational weapons, humanity's answer to fighting species that had evolved in gas giants and low-gravity environments. Concentrated beams of hypergravity lanced out from the Thunderbirds, each carrying the equivalent of Earth's gravity multiplied 1,000-fold. The effect on the Dominion ships was devastating. Hull plating designed for electromagnetic resistance crumpled under forces it was never meant to withstand. Entire sections of their massive vessels compressed like aluminum cans in a crusher. Inside Haven Station, Ambassador Lyra and Captain Rodriguez watched the battle unfold. "I don't understand." Lyra's crystalline form vibrated with confusion. "Their ships are so much larger than yours. By every logical measure, they should be winning." Rodriguez's smile was grim. "Size isn't everything, Ambassador. We learned that lesson on Earth long ago. It's not about how big you are. It's about how well you can handle the forces trying to tear you apart." The Dominion fleet attempted to regroup, their remaining ships forming a defensive pattern. Their commander's voice boomed across all frequencies. "What manner of abomination are you? No species should be able to manipulate gravity with such precision." Commander Chen's response was broadcast on the same channel. "We're humans. We were born in gravity that would crush you to paste. We learned to thrive in conditions you'd consider unsurvivable. And now we're using those lessons to protect those who never had to learn them." The battle shifted into close quarters, where the true superiority of human engineering became apparent. The Thunderbird's smaller size, originally seeming to be a disadvantage, proved to be their greatest strength. They could maneuver in ways the massive Dominion ships couldn't match, their earth-forged hulls shrugging off impacts that would have shattered vessels built for gentler environments. Lieutenant Patel's voice cut through the tactical chatter. "Sir, detecting power spikes in their flagship. They're charging something big." The Dominion's last-ditch weapon was a massive electromagnetic pulse, designed to overload and destroy any electronic systems in its path. Under normal circumstances, it would have been devastating. But humanity had learned from their harsh cradle never to rely on any single system. "All ships, initiate Faraday protocols," Chen ordered. The Thunderbird's metamaterial hulls reconfigured themselves, creating perfect electromagnetic shields. The pulse washed over them harmlessly, while their quantum crystalline computers continued to function unaffected. From her command post on Earth, Admiral Chen watched the tactical display with fierce pride. The Thunderbird squadron wasn't just winning. They were rewriting the rules of space combat. Every maneuver, every tactic was a demonstration of humanity's unique perspective. Technology designed not just to match their harsh environment, but to exceed it. The battle reached its climax as Commander Chen ordered the squadron's final attack pattern. The Thunderbirds moved in perfect synchronization, their gravitic weapons focusing on key structural points of the remaining Dominion ships. It wasn't just superior firepower, it was the application of humanity's fundamental understanding of how things break under extreme pressure. As the last Dominion ship's hull crumpled under forces it was never designed to resist, Commander Chen broadcast one final message to any who might be monitoring this battle. The Zalaxians are under humanity's protection. Remember what you've seen here today. Remember what happens when you mistake gentleness for weakness, and when you force those born of a death world to demonstrate why we earned that name. In Haven Station's control center, Ambassador Lyra's crystalline form shimmered with emotion she had no words to express. Captain Rodriguez placed a gentle hand near her. "Careful, always careful with their strength. This is why we call ourselves Guardians," she said softly. "Not because we seek violence, but because we understand it well enough to stop it." The battle was over, but its implications were just beginning to ripple through the galaxy. Humanity had demonstrated not just their military might, but their fundamental philosophy. Strength existed not to dominate, but to protect. They had learned to master the harsh forces of their birth world not out of aggression, but out of necessity. And now they would use that mastery to ensure that gentler species could continue to evolve in peace. Echoes of victory. In the days following the Battle of Haven Station, the galaxy's political landscape shifted like sand in a solar wind. The wreckage of the Nexus Dominion's fleet hung in space as a testament to humanity's power, while quantum communications networks buzzed with news of the unprecedented defeat of what had been considered an unstoppable force. Admiral Chen stood before the United Earth Alliance Council, her holographic form projected into chambers across 3 star systems. The Dominion's response was precisely what we expected, she reported, her voice steady. They've withdrawn their forces from all contested territories. 17 previously subjugated species are now looking to establish diplomatic relations, both with Earth and the Xylaxians. The implications were clear. Humanity's demonstration of power had created a power vacuum, but more importantly, it had shown the galaxy a different way of wielding strength. The quantum-secured channels were flooded with requests for protection agreements, technology exchanges, and diplomatic missions. On Haven Station, the changes were even more profound. Ambassador Lyra walked through the crystalline corridors with Dr. Elena Santos, Earth's leading expert in xenobiological engineering. The station's architecture was being reinforced with new metamaterials developed through human-Xylaxian cooperation, materials that maintained the beauty of crystalline structures while providing the durability to withstand attacks. Your people's understanding of solar energy manipulation is revolutionary, Elena explained, her dark eyes bright with excitement. Combined with our gravitational control technology, we're seeing applications we never imagined possible. Clean energy production that could power entire systems, defensive systems that don't rely on destructive force. Lyra's crystalline form shimmed with what humans had learned to recognize as joy. And your gravitational engineering has shown us how to strengthen our structures without losing their essential nature. We never thought to use gravity itself as a reinforcing field. In orbit above the station, Commander James Chen supervised the installation of the new defensive grid. The system was a perfect synthesis of human and Xylaxian technology. Crystalline sensors of unprecedented sensitivity wrapped in metamaterial shells that could withstand direct hits from capital ships. But its most revolutionary feature was its dual nature. In peacetime, it served as a solar energy collection array, powering Haven Station with greater efficiency than anything previously achieved. The best defense, James explained to a group of Xylaxian engineers, isn't just about stopping attacks. It's about creating systems so valuable that attacking them becomes unthinkable. The human philosophy was spreading, transforming how species across known space thought about strength and protection. The Xylaxians, once seen as vulnerable due to their peaceful nature, were now recognized as pioneers of a new kind of power, one that combined their elegant, efficient designs with humanity's resilient engineering. In the newly established Joint Species Academy on Haven Station, Captain Rodriguez addressed the first class of mixed-species students. The audience included crystalline Xylaxians, methane-breathing former subjects of the Dominion, and humans from across Earth's colonies. Each race brought its own perspective, its own strengths, and its own lessons learned from their home environments. "Look around you," Rodriguez said, her voice carrying the weight of recent history. Each species in this room evolved in conditions that would kill most of the others. The Xylaxians would shatter in Earth's gravity. Humans would dissolve in Metherian atmosphere. The Vax would freeze solid on any of our worlds. But here we are, together, learning from each other. She gestured to the station's crystalline walls, now strengthened by human engineering. This is what real strength looks like. Not the ability to destroy, but the wisdom to combine our different perspectives. The Xylaxians taught us that efficiency doesn't have to mean fragility. We taught them that resilience doesn't have to mean losing beauty. In Earth's quantum labs, scientists were already working on the next generation of hybrid technologies. The Xylaxians' crystalline computing, combined with human quantum engineering, was opening new frontiers in faster-than-light communication. Their solar energy expertise, married to Earth's gravitational control systems, promised to revolutionize everything from space travel to planetary terraforming. Ambassador Lyra, watching a demonstration of the new technologies, turned to Admiral Chen. "When your ships first appeared in our system, we thought we were seeing beings of pure force and power. We feared you might be another race of conquerors." Chen smiled, remembering that first contact. "And what do you see now?" "We see what strength is truly for," Lyra replied, her crystalline form refracting light in patterns that conveyed deep emotion, not to dominate, but to ensure that all forms of life can flourish, even those that evolved in gentler cradles than Earth. The message spreading across the galaxy was clear. Humanity's protection came not just with the promise of defense, but with the opportunity for growth. They were teaching other species not just how to survive, but how to thrive in a universe that didn't always match their natural environments. And in the darkness between the stars, other powers watched and learned. The age of simple conquest was ending. A new era was beginning, one where strength was measured not in destructive power, but in the ability to protect, preserve, and elevate others. Humanity, born of Earth's harsh cradle, had become not the galaxy's conquerors, but its guardians. Legacy of the Stars. 5 years after the Battle of Haven Station, the Galactic Assembly convened for the first time. The massive meeting hall, constructed using a combination of Xylaxian crystalline architecture and human structural engineering, floated in neutral space. Representatives from over 50 species gathered beneath its transparent dome, which offered a clear view of the star-studded expanse that had once seemed so dangerous to many of them. Admiral Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's primary diplomatic representative, stood at the podium. Her dress uniform bore both the insignia of Earth Fleet Command and the crystalline emblem of Haven Station, a symbol of the partnership that had changed everything. 5 years ago, humanity demonstrated what a species forged in harsh conditions could do. She began, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. But today, we gather to celebrate not the power of force, but the strength of unity. The evidence of that unity was everywhere. The hall itself was a testament to cross-species cooperation, its environmental systems simultaneously maintaining dozens of different atmospheric conditions. Crystalline Xylaxians floated alongside methane-breathing Metherians, while humans moved carefully through the varied gravity zones that allowed each species to function comfortably. Ambassador Lyra, her crystalline form now incorporated with subtle lines of human metamaterials that allowed her to safely visit Earth itself, addressed the assembly next. When we first met humans, we saw only their strength, their ability to survive conditions we considered impossible. We failed to see that this same strength would make them the most dedicated protectors our galaxy has ever known. The assembly's main display activated, showing the network of defensive installations and trade routes that had transformed known space. The former territories of the Nexus Dominion had become thriving independent worlds, each protected by hybrid defense systems that doubled as energy collection arrays. The technology that had once been used solely for war now powered a renaissance of art, science, and exploration. Commander James Chen, watching from his position near the hall's security center, reflected on how much had changed. The Thunderbird Squadron had evolved from a secret weapon into the cornerstone of a new kind of peacekeeping force. Their ships now served as rapid response units, arriving not just to defend against attacks, but to assist with natural disasters, medical emergencies, and scientific expeditions into dangerous regions of space. The true measure of strength, he often told new recruits, isn't in how much damage you can cause. It's in how much you can prevent. Dr. Elena Santos presented the latest breakthrough in cross-species medical technology, a universal healing system that combines Xylaxian crystalline energy manipulation with human understanding of extreme environmental adaptation. We've learned that every species' unique evolution offers lessons, she explained. The very adaptations that helped humans survive on Earth are now helping us develop treatments for conditions across all known species. The assembly watched in amazement as she demonstrated the technology, using it to heal a crack in a Xylaxian's crystalline structure while simultaneously treating the human's broken bone. The same principles that had once made humanity formidable in combat were now being used to preserve and protect life in all its forms. But perhaps the most profound change was visible in the younger generation. The Joint Species Academy had expanded from a single campus on Haven Station to a network of facilities across known space. In these schools, young beings from every environment learned not just about each other's cultures, but how to combine their unique perspectives to solve problems that no single species could tackle alone. A group of students demonstrated their graduation project, a new type of exploration vessel that incorporated aspects of every major species' technology. Its hull could adapt to any environment, its systems could support any form of life, and its mission was pure discovery. "This is what we were meant to be," Captain Rodriguez, now the Academy's senior instructor, said proudly. "Not just survivors of a harsh world, but teachers showing others how to thrive in any condition." The Assembly's final act was to ratify the Galactic Protection Accord. Unlike traditional military alliances, this agreement focused on mutual support and development. Each species pledged to contribute its unique strengths to the common good, with humanity serving not as rulers, but as guardians and guides. As the ceremony concluded, Admiral Chen and Ambassador Lyra stood together at the hall's observation dome, watching the stars that had once seemed to separate their peoples. "Did you ever imagine this?" Lyra asked, her crystalline form refracting the starlight. "When you first received our distress call, did you see this future?" Chen smiled, remembering the tension of that moment 5 years ago. "No," she admitted. "We just knew we had to help. Everything else." She gestured to the thriving space around them. "This came from all of us learning each other's strengths." In the space around the assembly hall, ships of all designs moved peacefully through the void. Crystal-sailed Xylaxian research vessels glided alongside sturdy human explorers. Former Dominion warships, repurposed for scientific missions, carried mixed crews studying phenomena that would have been too dangerous for any single species to approach alone. The legacy of Haven Station had become more than a story of humanity's power. It had become a testament to what strength could truly achieve, not the power to destroy or dominate, but the ability to protect, to nurture, and to help life flourish in all its diverse forms. As the assembly dispersed, carrying its message of unity back to countless worlds, the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter. The galaxy had learned that true strength wasn't found in the harsh conditions that forged humanity, but in the choice to use that strength to ensure that gentler species never had to face such trials alone. In the end, humanity's greatest victory hadn't come from their ability to fight, but from their determination to protect. They had become not just defenders, but teachers, showing the galaxy that every harsh lesson learned on Earth could be transformed into a tool for peace, progress, and preservation of all forms of life.